In this channel, I am going to present the introduction of programming languages for the beginners. So this session is mainly for beginners, those who are fascinated about the coding and programming languages that they have to be learned. This session is very important for them and very useful one for them. So in this, we are going to learn the four concepts regarding the programming languages. So the concepts that are covering in this session is what is programming language and why there are so many programming languages and what are the types of programming languages. Does the world needs a new languages for the developing of the technology. So now we are going to discuss what is a programming language. So what is a programming language? As what is a language first? um, Language, it is a word which is used for the communicate between the two persons or two things. So here in the programming language we are going to communicate with the system. So here humans are going to communicate with the system. We are going to use different programming languages. So here the programming language comes under C++, Java, Python, or many coming technologies are existing in the world today for the development of many technologies. So basically, for example, let us consider English as a natural language. So it consists of symbols and grammatical rules, semantics, and all the things. For the fluency of English, we need all these things like words, symbols, grammatical rules, and semantics. So as in the English language, in a programming language, same manner. We does have words, symbols, rules of grammar, and all the things. So coming to the programming language also, we are having the words, symbols, and rules of grammar. All these grammatical rules are known as syntax. So in the syntax, we are also having the parsing, semantics, all those. All those comes under the compiling design. We are going to learn that session in the future. So each and every programming language has different set of syntaxes and different set of semantic rules and all those things. So and in the next slide, we are going to see why there are so many programming languages came into the existence. What is the reason behind it, and what are the things that are going to be happen for these programming languages that are coming into this existence. So why does so here I just mentioned the example and later followed by the programming languages, why programming languages are evolved and what are the things that are to be happen during the evolution terms. So why some people speak French and why some people speak English and why some people speak in Telugu, Hindi, different languages are there in and around. So only the people who are familiar with that particular language, they speak with that particular language. So as like in the programming language also, we are evolved with the many things that for design, for the designing purpose, we are going with a CAD. For civil engineers, we will go with a CAD and all those things. For some embedded systems we'll go with VHDL and all those things. All those comes under the programming language and all. So MATLAB is also an example for that language. So for each and every technology that is going to be developed for the technology purpose, uh, for these things many languages are came into the existence for each and every purpose, for each and everything which should be of ease and that should be understandable for the people who are going to develop the system. They need different languages which is easily understandable for the developers and the designers who are going to develop and design them. So the first programming languages were developed in the year 1950s. So since there are thousands of languages that have been developed in different programming languages are designed for so as I mentioned you before, so many languages are uh, described and so many languages are designed and developed for different types of programs. For each and every program there will be different kinds of techniques that are to be evolved. So here we have come up with the different levels of programming languages. So the different programming languages are high level programming language. So high level programming language consists of the following. So here we simply define as a class triangle. So here we are going to return the surface area of a triangle. So we are, all of us know the surface area of a triangle formula, right? So half pH. So in different levels we are going to keep up the program in the different manner. So in the high level program, we just created a class and we just given the data type float for the surface, and we are going to return the surface area of a triangle. So in the low level language, we are going to use the mnemonics. Here the mnemonics are mainly used in the assembler language, as we'll see that session in the future sessions, and or else in the future presentations. I'm going to give the brief discussion about the assembly level language and all other languages that are going to be used in the programming language. So in the low level program, we use the mnemonics. Why here load, mul, diff and ret? All these are of known as mnemonics, and each and every variable are stored in the registers. Here R1, R2, R1 and R1 are registers that are stored in the each and every register that comes under the low level programming. Here now the executable machine code. In the executable machine code, what happens here? A machine level language, human readable language is converted into the bytecode. Here bytecode is of binary type. It will be of zeros and ones code. That's a machine understandable code. Hence we call it as a executable machine code. So what are the types of programming languages that are going to be covered here? So there are the different different types of languages in the different generations, and now in this upcoming session and upcoming presentation, we are going to see what are the first generation languages, second generation languages, and third, fourth and fifth. So what are the types of languages that are comes under the first generation, second, third, fourth and fifth? So in the first generation of languages, we just come up with this operational codes, just operands. What are the simple calculations are to be happen in the first generation of languages, and it is known as a machine language. And operational codes such as addition and subtractions are happen in this first generation of languages. Not many complicated calculations are happen in the first generation of languages or first generation of computers. So it is very so I mentioned here like a very efficient code but very difficult to write. So in the first generation of languages, it is very difficult to manage. So in the second generation of languages, as I mentioned, assembly level languages. In the assembly level languages, we come across with the mnemonics. So here mnemonics is a symbolic operational codes replaced by binary operation codes. So whatever the things we have stored in the registers, all those are converted into the binary operational codes. All those are actually we are going to give the information in the form of mnemonics, and that mnemonics are stored into the registers. That registers are converted into the bytecodes finally, and those are known as the operational codes. Here the assembler language, in the second point I mentioned that needs to be assembled for execution for the computer. For the computer, it will be understand only the machine code. It means it will understand only the zeros and ones language. So here assembly will easily converts that human readable language to the machine understandable language, which is the zeros and ones. Hence assembler language is easy to understand or translated one machine language instruction to the another machine level language, and which is very efficient to easy understand and ease for the users and programmers to design and develop the code. Now in the third generation language, we are going to closer to English but included simple mathematical notations. In the third generation languages, it will be of calculations, and the computations will be easy in the third generation languages, because in the third generation languages it includes the object code. Like object code is nothing but if it will be like object oriented. So many of the features regarding C++ will be included in the third generation languages, so that here the translation of source code to the bytecode is converted entirely by the compilers. So compiler and interpreters are used in the third generation languages for the compilation of or execution of the codes. So in the fourth generation of a computer, continuation to the third generation. And so as I mentioned above, interpreter and compiler are used for the execution of the bytecodes and execution of the source codes or object codes. All those are used in the third generation languages. These are the futures present in the C, C++. All those comes under the third generation languages, as I mentioned you before. And coming to the Fourth generation languages. So here the fourth generation languages are high level languages that requires a fewer instructions to accomplish a task in it. So here in the fourth generation languages we mainly use with the databases. Here the databases comes under the SQL, PLSQL and MySQL. All these database it includes the with the databases. So here the databases includes like some of the structured query languages will be there like SQL, PLSQL and database design. All those languages comes under the fourth generation languages. So I mentioned like query structured query languages, report generators, form designers and application generators. All this comes under the fourth generation languages. So now coming to the fifth generation and beyond this fifth generation computers, all the declarative languages like Lisp, Prolog and all those things, logical, functional, all this comes under the fifth generation languages. Like we just gone through glance like all the programming languages, Prolog, logic based, mathematical logic based, and MATLAB comes under this fifth generation languages. VHDL comes under this fifth generation languages. All the complications will be come under this fifth generation and beyond the fifth generation languages. So what next? Beyond the fifth generation languages, till now all these are the different programming languages at present. Naturally, programming language generally can be interpreted and executed by the computer with no other action by the user than stating the question. So we can see over here the family tree of different programming languages, like we starting from Fortran to the common list. We just come across with the many futures, all the different languages combinedly with the different futures.